Hello, folks. Welcome to this episode of Rich Insights. I'm Don Rich, Head of Investments for Esoterica Capital. Today's topic is on green shoots that are copper in color. Yeah, I want to talk about copper today. Right. This is one of my favorite videos in quite some time. We actually have something positive to talk about. You know, so much of the macro data that people are getting excited about, I'm not buying into it. I'm calling bullshit time and time again. Because when you look at the details don't support the story. Oh, this immediate V-shaped recovery, bullshit, right? They say bull market, I say bullshit, right? But we do have some green shoots. And the most important green shoot, I think, is in copper, right? And that's important. That is important. Now, copper is said to have a PhD in economics, right? They often refer to it as Dr. Copper, right? Now, why is that? Well, because historically, it's done a fair job at detecting turning points in the economy, in the global economy now, right? This is a global base metal. Why is it so important? Why has it done a decent job at predicting turning points? Well, it has to do with the widespread application, the widespread use of copper, right? We need it in our homes, right? Think about all the copper pipes or factories. We need copper. Obviously, all the electronics, power generation, transmission, right? All that needs copper. The higher the demand, it drives the price up. Now, let's take a look at that. Let's take a look at that price I just mentioned here. All right, so here we have the price of copper, and notice that in early March, we were down here just above the $200 level. All right, let's call it 210. And look at this climb. Look at this climb. Wow. The heavy line, the pink colored line on here is a 4-day moving average. All right, look at this unrelenting climb. In fact, where are we at today? We are higher than we were at the start of the year. Wow. Wow. We have more than fully recovered the effects of the virus based on this, right? Based on this. Now this, if you want to talk about a V-shaped recovery and the fact that, you know, the coronavirus is just going to be a speed bump and we're going to get back, this is really the only piece of data that I've come across that really supports that premise. Everything else pales in comparison, right? You really got to stretch the story to make that work. But here we are easily above our March levels. Here, let's go. So again, the levels in March compared to where we're at today. And where we're at today takes us back here to about the start of the year. Right? Still a little bit lower than we were at the start of the year, but not much. But not much. Dang, that's good news. That's good news. It's a little hard to believe, actually. My first thought was, you know, those numbers are probably a little suspicious. This unrelenting buying of copper. I've seen it before. Generally, when someone, such as China, is maxing out their inventories, right? Let's go take a look at that. Is that the case? No, the fat guy says. Look at how low inventory levels are. In fact, the demand has been increasing the supply. We have been drawing down inventories. In fact, the current level of inventories is quite modest. It's quite low. Wow. Again, I say, I can't find a hole in the number. It just seems to be demand driven. There have been a few supply disruptions, but Lord knows there's been, you know, more than a few demand disruptions, and yet copper continues to climb. To me, this is meaningful. In fact, this is huge. Now, copper in isolation, that's not enough. But it is, like I said, the first green shoot that I can really point to and have some confidence in its result. I really just don't see anything fishy in the number at all. So, you know, we're in the midst of what's often being called the most hated rally in history. Right? It's the most hated for two reasons. Right? On the one hand, so many people missed the rally. Right? So it was under-participated in, making it the most hated rally in history. The second is the speed and the magnitude of it. Right? There's been a lot of people on the sidelines that have been saying, "Yeah, I'll step in. Let's let it have a pullback. Let's let it cool down a little bit, a couple days of pullback, and I'll jump in." And that really just hasn't happened. Right? If we have a big down day, the next day it seems like it pops up again. So we have this most hated equity rally in history. And of course, the disconnect between the equity prices and the macro fundamentals are huge, perhaps the largest ever. But then there's copper. Right? If you could only choose one thing, it might be copper. Copper is really telling the same story as the stock market right now. Again, I think equity valuations are nuts. We are overbought. We are overvalued. We got this huge disconnect. But there is that but. And that is copper. Copper is the only market really that's telling the same story, that's bought into this equity rally, that's bought into this V-shaped recovery. And that is encouraging. That is something I think, hopefully, to build on. That's not to say we're not going to have a pullback in equities or even a pullback in copper prices. But that is quite encouraging, right? That is a very encouraging start. All right, so that's our message for today. I'm Don Rich, and you just experienced a rich insight. I hope you've enjoyed it. May your beer be colder than the company you keep. We'll talk again soon. Thank you.